100 years ago, there were 500,000 rhinoceroses in the world. By 1970, there were 70,000. Today, there's only 30,000. That's a fun opener. Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and you're watching Animalogic. Rhinos have roamed the Earth since just after the dinosaurs went extinct, over 50 million years ago. In fact, the Earth used to be teeming with rhinoceroses, and they came in all shapes and sizes. The Paraceratherium, for example, lived about 30 million years ago, was 5 meters or 16 feet tall, and weighed 20 tons. That is nearly 10 times bigger than the largest rhinoceros today. Rhinos have survived a great deal of adversity, including being preyed upon by prehistoric hyenas and giant crocodiles. More recently, rhinos have found tough competition in the elephant, whose trunk makes them a far better super large herbivore. Today, there are only 5 species of rhino: Sumatran, Javan, and Indian, all named for the regions they come from in Asia, and the white and black rhinos in Africa, which are both actually gray. The black rhino most likely gets its name from the color of mud it likes to roll in, and the white rhino gets its name because of a misinterpretation of the Afrikaans word wid, which means wide, not white. The white rhino has wide, square lips, which they use for grazing on grass, whereas the black rhino has long, pointy lips in order to grab leaves and fruit up in trees. The modern rhino has no real predators, except for man, but that doesn't stop it from being a very wary animal. They have very poor eyesight, not being able to see beyond 27 meters or 90 feet, but they make up for it with incredible hearing and sense of smell. In fact, the largest part of the rhino's brain is dedicated to the olfactory sense. They also have developed a symbiotic relationship with the oxpecker bird, which not only eats pests such as ticks off the rhinos, but also warns the rhino if there's danger nearby by making a huge commotion. If a rhino feels threatened, it will charge, particularly if you're between a mother and a calf. Rhinos don't actually want to hurt you, they just want to give you a little scare. There are only 2 rhino attacks per year, and they're usually not fatal. However, when 2,300 kilograms or 5,000 pounds of rhino is coming at you at up to 64 kilometers or 40 miles per hour, that may be hard to remember. How can such a huge animal like the rhino run so fast?
Okay, that's a canter. Oh, brilliant, brilliant.
Well, we're not entirely sure. Unlike the elephant, with its column-like legs, the rhino has rather thin legs that flare out at their feet, which are tipped with 3 toes. Oddly enough, studies have found that they primarily walk on their toes, not their pads, exerting 75 pounds of pressure per square inch on their toes, and only 15 psi on their pads, which is surprisingly similar to the amount of pressure we produce when we walk. Of course, we can't talk about the rhino without talking about its horn. In fact, rhinoceros is Greek for nose horn. The mysterious, magical horn of the rhino is actually neither, and is primarily made up of keratin, the same thing that makes up our fingernails and hair. So, not magic. It's actually very similar to a horse's hoof. Unfortunately, in several Asian countries, particularly Vietnam, the rhino horn is thought to have medicinal powers. Ground down to a powder, its uses range from a cure for cancer, to a drug to snort at parties, to an aphrodisiac. Despite the fact that countless scientific studies have found no actual medicinal properties in the powder, the incredible demand for rhino horn has driven the price of a large horn all the way up to $500,000. Per kilogram, the rhino horn is worth more than cocaine or even gold. A rhino is killed by poachers every 8 hours in South Africa alone, which resulted in 1,200 killed last year. There has been a 9,000% increase in rhino kills since 2007. So it is possible that next year will be the first year in history that more rhinos are killed than are born. There are only 100 Sumatran rhinos, 60 Javan rhinos, and 3 northern white rhinos left on the planet. The last male northern white rhinoceros, named Sudan, is protected 24 hours a day by 4 armed guards. With so much money to be made, poaching has become more and more sophisticated, utilizing night vision goggles, silenced weapons, and even helicopters. In Africa, more conservation rangers are killed than policemen, 1 in every 4 days. However, it's not as easy as saying that all the poachers are evil and we should go to war with them. Imagine an African father plagued with poverty, attempting to support his family and being offered more money in a day to help hunt a rhino than he would normally make in a year. The solutions to the problem are varied and sometimes very hard to believe. The most obvious answer is to cut the rhino's horn off before the poachers do. There has been some small success with dehorning. However, rhinos were often poached even without the horn as vengeance, or to harvest the short stub left on the animal. The Rhino Rescue Project goes even further by drilling a hole into the horn of the rhino and injecting a non-lethal poison that is harmful to humans but apparently not to the rhino. They also inject a pink dye into the horn to let poachers and consumers know that it has been tainted. This is a controversial technique because of the harm that it can bring to an unsuspecting end user and possibly the rhino. A British team of scientists has developed a combination of a GPS tracker, a heart monitor, and a hidden horn camera. If the rhino's heart rate goes up because it's being hunted, the camera turns on and the rangers can send out a team by jeep or helicopter to stop the poachers. The World Wildlife Fund has started a similar program. With the $5 million awarded to them by Google, they've purchased a fleet of drones equipped with night vision and thermal sensors to patrol the rhinos. This is incredibly helpful because stopping the poaching that happens at night is very difficult. However, trying to stop the poachers on the ground may be a losing battle. In some parts of Africa, the conviction rate for rhinoceros crime is as low as 3%. I'm looking at you, Rocksteady. So the next level of conservation gets a little crazy. Airlifting rhinos to safer locations. Dozens of rhinos have been helicoptered from South Africa to Botswana, where they have taken a hard line against poaching. One South African man has started the Australian Rhino Project and is attempting to airlift 80 rhinos to Australia, where they can breed in peace. Others have tried to go after the market for rhino horn itself. A US company is working on developing a 3D printed synthetic rhino horn that will be genetically similar to the real thing and feel and smell the same. Still, others have gone after the root of the problem. Humane Society International has teamed up with the Vietnamese government to create an educational program for Vietnamese children, featuring the book and video I'm a Little Rhino.
We are really strong and can run very fast.
Chúng tôi có thể dùng sừng để đấu lại các loài động vật ăn thịt như sư tử. Những con này giết và ăn những con khác.
But we can't run fast enough to get away from poachers. A poacher is a criminal who kills animals.
The hope is that the children will pass on the truth about rhinos to their father, aunt, or neighbor who consume the horn. Finally, scientists have created a crowd-funded project called Make a Rhino, Save a Species. Not to be confused with Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy. They're trying to save the northern white rhino. Unfortunately, the 2 remaining females are infertile, and Sudan, the last male, is too old to perform. So they're going to need to Jurassic Park this problem. They're hoping to take frozen eggs and sperm and combine them with DNA from the last few northern white rhinos that have died, and then implant the resulting embryos into a surrogate mother. If successful, they'll be able to continue the species. Because if we manage to wipe out the only actual unicorns in the world, I'll be sorely disappointed. Because then we'll never get to see this again.
Mama, this teach him how to walk next to me. He was walking towards to me.
I'm filming now.
I just saw him.
Uh-oh. It's okay. He can't see room.
What animals should I check out next? Please let me know in the comments. If you want to support the show and get episodes a week early, you can do so by signing up for a free trial of the video streaming app Love Nature, or by watching online on the website. Thanks for watching.